So colleagues, let's start. I'm glad to see you all here today. This year, Ukraine joined the Target Gender Equality Program, and until March of 2021, there were only 5 companies that signed and reported on women empowerment principles. In March of this year, we joined another 5. But our ambition is to join as many companies as possible from Ukraine. And today, at United Nations Global Compact Leaders Summit, we invited business leaders and influencers on gender equality to raise the awareness on gender equality in Ukraine. So let me introduce Michael Tsarev, the CEO of Starlight Media, which is the leading Ukrainian company which is specialized in the production and distribution of content for television broadcast and digital platforms. So, Michael, you were the first CEO of the Ukrainian company that signed Women Empowerment Principles. In its first year of operation, Starlight Media has implemented more than 20 projects of changes and initiatives in this area, published a progress report, and grew on the webs of gender analysis tool by 38%. What is next?
I'd like to welcome everyone. Tatiana, thank you very much for inviting to this event. We're very delighted that you also notice the progress our company made in adopting gender equality and adopting women empowerment principles. But for our company, women empowerment principles are not considered as a one project with some deadlines or responsible personalities. We consider web as the change of our corporate philosophy. This is the way how our company wants to exist in the future and fundamental for the sustainable development of our corporate culture. And when we started in 2020, we focused primarily on, I would say, traditional projects, which were understandable, obvious for us, like in different pays for male, female, different promotion grades, different process in recruitment. But and as I said, we like the progress we made, which is highlighted in general gap analysis. But we understand now that we reaching the next step, which is more qualitative, more difficult. And this step, which we considered, they are linked with the more initiatives which we delegate to female employees and managers in our companies. The company, I'm personally very delighted to learn about the initiative of our women to create employee resource group for gender equality. And if we started, I would say, considering the program web top down, so now we see this initiative coming from our employees and managers. And this is, for me personally, is a huge qualitative change. And this group, ERG, has already changed our view, for example, on very difficult matter like domestic violence. For example, in 2020, we announced in our plan that we would like to raise awareness of the violence problem. And we consider us, yes, as a media company, we have to communicate more openly about the existing of such program. But now, with help of the ERG, we have changed our view. We are not only raising awareness and communicating, we have adopted a corporate program to combat domestic violence with very specific actions, which we as a company would like to or already implementing to provide larger way of supporting our employees and female employees in terms of legal support, financial support, some infrastructural support. And this is, for example, one of the next level of our activities. And last but not least, for us, it's very important to not to focus on our corporate initiatives and to spread our practice. Therefore, we are very thankful to this partnership with the United Nations Global Compact and the readiness to to help us to spread our knowledge. We are open to share all our projects or all our ideas. We present them on our websites, in our reports. We're working now on the initiative like, for example, Media for She. This is based on this idea, he for she, and we really hope that as I said in your title of your panel, that 2030 will be will create a new level for corporate culture for all Ukrainian businesses based on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much for introduction, and we will come back to you soon. And I would like to give the floor to Evgeny Shevchenko, the CEO of Carlsberg Ukraine, which is the part of Carlsberg Group, one of the world's leading brewing groups with a large portfolio of beer. Evgeny, in what way do you implement gender equality in your company?
Okay, first of all, again, thanks for opportunity to join this forum. For Carlsberg, gender equality is a part of a bigger program, which is diversity and inclusion. And actually, which is based on 4 pillars, where the first one is the diverse representation, which includes also the issue of the gender equality, because we aim to increase the diverse representation of people, of different people in our company, be it gender, be it religion, be it sexual orientation, be it anything else. The second one, which is coming, of course, from the first one, is the equal opportunities, because the more diverse is our company, the more important is that every representative, every employee has equal opportunities with the other, especially when we are talking about the things which was mentioned by the previous speaker, like preventing harassment and things like that. Inclusive culture is the third pillar, because here we are focusing on inclusive leadership behaviors, which is the foundation for all inclusive culture and the goal mindset, because we want everybody to bring their true self to work. And the fourth one is the business priority, because diversity and inclusion, including the gender equality, should not be just an HR program. It should serve the purpose of the business, and basically it should be embedded in day-to-day activities and priorities of the leaders. This is how we see it.
Thank you, Evgeny. Thank you very much for introducing gender equality issues in Carlsberg. And I would like to keep diversity at our discussion, and would like to give the floor to Ms. Zoe Litvin from Osvatore. Osvatore is a non-profit public association that helps drive changes in education development in Ukraine. And my question is, what is the gender imbalance in education in our country, abroad, and how it affects children? Zoya, please, your microphone is off.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you, Tatiana, for this question. And I'll probably add something interesting to this discussion, because comparing to our previous 2 speakers, I work in a very important field, which inspires me a lot, in the field of education, but it's entirely dominated by women, not only in Ukraine, but in the whole world. There is some correlation between the prestige of this profession. The higher prestige is, the more men we have in a profession of school teachers, but still in most of the countries, in all of educational super countries, we have much more women in this field of education than men. And of course, it also has a negative influence. For example, if we speak about Ukraine, this inequality is huge. We have 96% of women working as school teachers. And for example, Ukraine recently had Pisa tests, which assess the quality of school system of the country. It now helps us to compare the quality of education in rural areas, in big cities. It can give us some statistic to compare us to other countries, which are great in terms of schooling. And what I can tell you, for example, boys, they have learning outcomes in literacy and reading much lower than girls. If we take average Ukrainian boy comparing to average Ukrainian girl, boy has 2.5 years less in his results than a girl. Like boy was studying 2.5 years less, but if we speak about reality, it was the same learning time for both of them. There are no research on this topic, but one of hypotheses is that our literature programs, they are created by women, and they choose amazing books and novels, but they are interesting for girls at schools much more than for boys. So this is one of the illustrations how inequality can influence even education, and equality is always good, other way or another, and we definitely need to promote it. And I have to tell you that we also have some cases, because one of our projects is school, and some parents are coming and they might be afraid that teacher of their children in a primary school is a man, and they are worried if men can be so kind to their child the same as women, and they're afraid to start. But when they start, of course, they understand that a good teacher is about soft skills, is about heart, and it doesn't depend on gender. And if we speak about women empowerment, PISA assessment international, it has shown that girls and boys, they have the same abilities of math and sciences, but because of some stereotypes, boys choose more often to go for further higher education in these fields than girls. So probably girls need some empowerment in these fields, because we need them more in this field. So probably that's all about Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoya. Yesterday was the last studying day in many state-owned schools, and I saw many posts on social media where children celebrated that day with their teachers and directors of the school. And I noticed one picture when the director is a young gentleman who was dancing with really small children. And I believe that all of them admire him and would like to continue studying, especially at that school. That's great to see the diversity in Ukrainian secondary education. But I would like to go further to the world chemistry leader, the company Basf. Tiberiu Dima, what does Basf do to promote gender equality at the workplace and society?
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana, for the invitation to this event. As a global company, as a world chemistry leader, BASF welcomes all talents, regardless of gender, regardless of cultural, religious, or social background, regardless of sexual orientation or identity, origin, or physical integrity. We strongly believe, and we are convinced, that our people, the people working for us, are key to our success. And we believe we need a variety of backgrounds and perspectives to offer our customers the best possible solutions and services. The promotion of diversity in our organization, it's an integral part of our corporate strategy, and it's anchored very strongly in our values, in our core values. Derived from this, we have a global competency model and a global code of conduct, which provide a framework for actions for our entire team when it comes to diversity. Just to mention here, one of our core competence for which particular leaders are, the performance of leader is measured, is called Embrace Diversity. Coming to gender diversity, together with many other companies and business leaders across the globe, BASF supports advancing gender equality, and we signed and committed to the Women Empowerment Principles, which offer an appropriate guidance to business on how to promote gender equality and women's empowerment in the workplace. We believe that fostering female talent is very important, and we have included gender diversity in our non-financial corporate targets. Just to mention the most important target on gender diversity, by 2030, BASF aims and is working on having 30% of its leadership team as female by 2030. Currently, at the end of 2019, for example, the proportion of female managers in BASF globally was 23%, and which was a good increase compared to previous year. Yeah. And the goal of this better gender balance in the leadership team is to be achieved by the BASF group at all levels of management and also at all levels of geographies, in all the countries. I think in a later stage today we can discuss more about the local situation and what we are doing also here in Eastern Europe to promote gender diversity and to follow the women's empowerment principles.
Thank you, Tiberio. Thank you very much. We are going to media resource management as a part of FilmUA Group, the largest in Eastern Europe group of companies in the area of film and television production. And I introduce Katerina Udut, the CEO of the company. Katerina, you are a successful women leader. Does this mean that the issue of gender equality in the professional sphere has long been resolved in Ukraine, in your company, and in the industry?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tatiana, for having me here. My honor to represent FilmUA here in front of you, and thanks for the question. So my personal professional qualities, ambitions for development, ability to work in a team have played a major role in my career. And I think it's a great luck that my career is with FilmUA Group. The company Gender Balance has developed historically and is an organic human resources strategy. Our priority in forming teams is, first of all, the professional and personal qualities of each employee, regardless of their gender, age, nationality, etc. For everyone who has the appropriate competencies and passion for work, first of all, of course, career elevators in the FilmUA Group are open. And as for today, our company has almost exemplary gender balance, with 47% of women and 53% of men. So all looks good, right? On the other hand, in some of our companies, there are kind of controversial cases. In MRM, in our company, in team, we have 15 women and 4 men. And the leader is also a woman. So lots of work still to be done to improve the situation. After all, although FilmUA Group was founded by 3 men, the CEO of the whole holding is a woman. Moreover, 60% among 30 companies inside the group are headed by women. So this provides very strong women's presence in the decision-making process. And we cannot say that the model of the gender equality in FilmUA Group is universal for Ukraine as a whole, but I think that patriarchal tradition of gender role division for both in business and personal life remains very widespread in Ukraine. For example, the law that provides equal child care opportunities for both parents has only recently been passed, and for the first time in the history of Ukraine, men can count on a leave when they have a child. So we still have a lot of work to do to promote gender equality in all the spheres of our life, but we have already come a long way and to make the women's voices louder in our society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we are going to the second round of questions. And Michael, we are coming back to you. What are the new gender equality challenges facing businesses due to the pandemic?
I don't want to stay and explain. We all understand the challenges of the pandemic itself, and we all businesses went through this. And of course, it was experience, like lifetime experience for us. And it's affected also our, the way how we consider the gender equality. First of all, of course, we focus on the health matters, which relates to the defense of our employees and women employees against the COVID, and provide enough, supporting actions to assist our employees in this matter. But we haven't stopped, and it's like what we saw. We know the amount of remote work, which was like falling down on our employees during this time, and what we saw that the home became the office, for our employees, and some matters which we haven't considered before, like what are the living conditions of our employees, how many people live in the, do they have a place to work, how they handle this balance between looking after the family, children, and providing enough work involvement in day-to-day professional obligations. And we noticed that one of the area which we have to focus immediately, this is support in mental health. And this is definitely one of the first actions which we undertook. We have involved a number of psychologists. We provided mental health, and I should say that not only women but also men have used this opportunity and went for sometimes it's just consultation, which help. The second area I mentioned in my previous response is, of course, the support in combat domestic violence. Because for the first time, I would say that it hasn't become an option anymore. You cannot, because as I said, the home became the office of the employees, and the way what happened after the hidden camera, it's become a matter for the management. You cannot ignore it, and this is what I would say. Definitely, the pandemic, the amount of this remote work has forced us to be more proactive in this area. Of course, it also forced us to increase the numbers of metrics which we are following in terms of monitoring gender equality to the traditional metrics like levels of payments. We also added some sick leave durations, frequency, what happened, like just other metrics which help us to understand what happened with primarily with female employees in our companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. It's really interesting practice, and I like to have metrics in order to be able to compare what was in the past and what will be in the future. So, Eugene, I would like to talk to you about past and future. What has been done in gender equality sphere in your company, and what are the goals for the future?
Tatiana, sorry, was the question to me? Because it was kind of lacking. Okay. Well, definitely we've got corporate targets in different dimensions of diversity and inclusion, like share of employees from the Gen Z, share of employees with disability, and of course, share of women in our company among the employees. The next milestone is 2022, which is the next year, and the target is to have 40% globally. We are not far from it because currently we've got 36% of our employees being women. But also it's important to mention, because there are several ways how you can achieve it. There is a forced way, which is positive discrimination, but I don't believe it's effective enough, because there is another way, which is in removing the obstacles and unconscious biases on the way and in the recruitment process. And this is what basically what we are trying to concentrate on. Ukrainian entity is one of the flagships in this regard, because I can tell that in my management team, I've got 12 direct reports, 5 of them are women. And also the issue of equal pay is not an issue in Ukraine, I believe, because in some positions we've got women having bigger salaries than men in equal positions. So I don't believe that there is discrimination, at least in the entity which I'm responsible for. And also in the FMCG sector, there are not only in FMCG, but I can speak on behalf of FMCG. There are traditional functions like, actually Zoya has mentioned, totally dominated by women, like HR, in many cases marketing, but there are also functions where women are almost not present, which is sales, for example. But in our case, we've got 5 sales directors reporting to sales VP, 2 of them are women. So I believe we're on a strong track, and we can be kind of a good benchmark for some other entities in the group, and also some other companies in Ukraine.
Thank you very much for sharing your plans. Zoya, I would like to come back to you. You are the leader in sphere of education in Ukraine, influencer, but I know that you have your personal female role model. Could you please share your thoughts about that with us?
Thank you, Tatiana. Yes, I could, and I have to say I was lucky enough to have amazing women role models in my life, but probably the biggest and the most influential was my grandmother. She was born in USSR, and she had amazing career. She had no biases. She just knew that she can achieve whatever she wants. And she was in charge of research and development of the biggest weapon factory in USSR, which is called Arsenal. And she was in charge of this R&D center full of men and other women. And why it is important for me? Because, you know, as Yevgeny previously said, I don't believe in positive discrimination. I feel that we can really change something for we can improve something if we have no biases and if we have success stories. And I think for the topic of women empowerment, it's really important to have new role models and to have success stories of other women in sectors which don't look so attractive for women at the moment. And in Ukraine, this is IT, this is entrepreneurship, this is government. And if we find those success stories, if we speak about them and make them popular, then it can inspire Ukrainian girls and women to consider those sectors. And the same is for men in education. If we speak about success stories of men in this field, maybe we will attract more of them. So I believe in this way.
Great. I'm curious, Is it the case why Osvatore is located in Arsenal?
Actually, you know, my family, my grandmother was very sad when Arsenal factory was closed because it was not needed anymore in independent Ukraine. And she said, you know, it was my dream that one day you could also go there and work, because all my family members, they worked for Arsenal. And if we count in total all the years they spent there, they dedicated their lives to this factory, it will be 600 years. And maybe it's some kind of fate that now my office is situated in Arsenal factory as an NGO, as an educational institution, but still I feel that spirit and empowerment there.
Thank you. And lucky we are, Global Compact Network in Ukraine is located in Osvatore and in Arsenal. And this is a great location. Let's go back to figures. My next question is to you, Tiberio. By 2030, Basf wants to increase the proportion of women in leadership positions to 30% worldwide. What measures are implemented by the company to achieve this target?
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana. Yes, as you mentioned, 30% by 2030. This is our target for female managers across BASF Group, and we are coming, as I mentioned, from a 23% at the end of 2019. Yeah. And the goal for this gender balance, once again, is to be achieved across all levels of leadership and across all geographies in all the countries. I can say, to make a parenthesis, in Ukraine, I'm very proud that we have a perfect gender balance. Our directorate, including myself here, we have a 50-50 balance, 8 women and 8 females and 8 males in the management team of BASF in Ukraine. I'm very proud of this, and it just came naturally based on competence and skills. Yeah. Now coming back to BASF groups, BASF wants to puts a special focus on the 3 levels of leadership below the board of executive directors globally. This is also what we call senior executives. Yeah. These particular levels of leadership, they have a multiplier effect. They are usually managing very large number of people and geographies, and they can have a strong impact on also pursuing diversity and inclusion targets. Yeah. At this 3 level of leaderships, the proportion of female leaders at the end of 2019 was 15.8. So definitely, with our new strategy and commitments, we want to better incorporate women and their abilities in the leadership team of BASF. Particularly, as a research-driven company, we know very well the value of diverse way of thinking and working, and we know that particularly women can also bring different perspectives and different ideas when it comes to developing innovative ideas and solutions. Now, to achieve this target, all leaders are obliged to pursue it. And it starts with early recognition, nomination, and development of talented female employees, and as low as a very well thought and thorough long-term succession planning. And this will contribute to reaching the goal. Majority of leadership positions at BASF are filled internally. In our region, in the Eastern Europe, in 2020, we launched Women Leadership Mentoring Program, which is aimed at strengthening the identification and the development of female talents by helping particularly the female talents to be more visible in a very big and large and complex organization and to build network. This program takes 2 months. We have 7 participants in the countries in the Eastern Europe, which are chosen for the local talent pool, and they are provided with mentoring sessions from BASF top management, individual coaching session with external expert trainings, and we also facilitate internal exposure. As you see, as a company globally, we have more room for gender diversity. This is coming probably also because we are a more industrial type of company. From my own experience, I work in BSF a long time in the agricultural sector, both in my home country in Romania and here in Ukraine for a long period of time. And I was always very much impressed of how much value ideas and creativity female managers and female employees can bring into agricultural sector, which is typically a pretty male-dominant sector. Yeah, we are also encouraging this, and we are now thinking about how to attract also more females into agriculture in Ukraine, considering also the importance of this industrial sector into the economy of Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiberio. We see the great experience of traditional businesses that may change rules and introduce gender equality into their strategy and operations. Great. And we are going back to Media Resource Management Group. Your company influences millions of viewers. You are doing enough to make this huge influence capital fully used to improve the equality of women and men, or there is some other room for improvement?
Actually, I think, thank you for the question, Tatiana. I think it's more a question not to MRM, but to Filmir Group in general. Yes, and the company does realize this social responsibility. And we know that we are the company that influenced the Ukrainian and even global community through its products. And we are constantly contributing to achieve the equal gender representation in media. Our content strategies are formed, among the other things, in the direction of overcoming gender stereotypes. In our catalog, you'll find so many great titles of different formats and genres that have focus on strong female character. We are proud to tell the world the stories of women and girls about their success, about their difficulties in professional and in personal life. And these stories really inspire thousands of people. Just to name a few, Hide and Seek, the 8-part crime drama with intricate storyline driven by unique female character, young detective Varta Naumova. Also, sports feature drama Pulse. It will be, by the way, premiered in cinemas next week. It tells the story of young Ukrainian athlete Oksana and her difficult way to dream to the Olympics after she lost her eyesight. And what's also important, our women characters are of different ages. They come from different social and even historical background. As an example, our new drama series in development about a woman, Galia, who is fighting for her family and better life right after the breakup of USSR. And this time period, I mean, the 90s, as well as the Soviet woman's take on it, it will be for the first time in focus on Ukrainian TV ever. We also create, of course, content for children, which influences the future life and mindset of the smallest viewers. And there you'll meet so many great, amazing girls as the key characters, like Mavka or Roxolana. They're fighting with evil in their very beautiful and challenging world. And also our creative teams, I mean, producers, directors, are mostly consist of women who use their own life experience and integrate it into their projects. And the last but not least, MRM, the company I lead, organizes nationwide competition for socially important content with the support of USAID. And the submitted project evaluation, along with standard theme and quality-based criteria, also include the issues of equality and tolerance. So just to sum up, here at Filmir Group, we always keep in mind the values of gender equality and respect for human rights. But also we find it really important to maintain the balance and provide equal opportunities for both sexes in the creative and business process in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for great discussion and your experience. I would like to tell just a small story about how the Global Compact Network in Ukraine decided to start to launch the Target Gender Equality program in Ukraine. 2 years ago, we decided to change our governance, and we decided to create the board of the organization. The board should be consisted of CEOs of the companies which are participants of Global Compact Network in Ukraine. And when we checked the portfolio of all our CEOs, we realized that 100% of them are men. But we have our own UN requirement to have at least 30% of women in the board. It was a great challenge for us to see on the problem of gender equality from another side. We invited women who are founders and owners of foundations, which are part of Global Compact as well. It was a decision. After that, we held Ring the Bell events, twice at least, where we raised the awareness of businesses that there could be a challenge for them for the future. And now we have experienced that our companies are led by women as well. At least 2 CEOs of our companies are women, and we are proud of that. We have more diversity. So I believe that all of us are here, are leaders, and could lead the idea of gender equality further within their audience. I wish you all the luck with this issue, and I hope we will cooperate further in promoting gender equality in Ukraine. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you,
very much.
colleague. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you.